Hi, my name's Courtney, and I'm going to tell you about my experience taking a gap year from school. And this is honestly something that's very different from my normal content, because normally I'm just talking about like music, my favorite artists, my concert experiences. But this is just something that's been weighing on my heart for a hot minute now. And considering that I was supposed to be graduating at the beginning of May this year, it's something that's very relevant, and I just really wanted to speak my truth and my experiences, and maybe I can just help like one person navigate how they want to control their life, because there are so many moving parts whenever you get out of high school and like start into college, and something that you might think was right for you at 18 might not be right for you at 20. And that's 100% okay. For me, I pursued a year at Syracuse University doing film. And funnily enough, I was there that week of graduation. I wasn't able to stay for graduation to watch my friends graduate. And honestly, this trip really did inspire me to make this video because I felt really validated in my decision to leave. Because it was really difficult for me leading up to this, thinking about how I was going to watch all my friends graduate and how I was supposed to be graduating with them, and how I felt behind in life because I would not have a degree at this very moment, considering that when I was younger, I was someone that would make straight A's. I joined every organization, want to be like the president of everything, but that clearly changed a lot. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with changing. I think change is a wonderful thing. There are times where you change for the worse, but they help you change for the better if you use those experiences to help you grow. So I remember my freshman year very vividly. I was pursuing my film degree. I remember having several professors being like, "You don't need a degree to do film," which was very funny because I'm like, aren't you like literally getting paid because we're here? And we had a lot of guest speakers that were like discouraging school too. And so I kind of had in my head that whole year that maybe I shouldn't be here if I want to do this. And at that same time, I was losing passion for my major. And I honestly don't know if I ever had like a full passion in my major, because truly I felt like my real passion always lied within music. And I guess I always thought that in order to pursue music that I would need to be the artist. And I just didn't want to work in such a competitive industry. Even though film is an extremely competitive industry, I just thought music would be even harder than film. And as I was going through this program, I was also dealing with a lot of familial issues at home. Even though I was super far away from home, I could still sense those issues just kind of coming up in my daily life and really impacting me in a lot of ways, just kind of worrying what the next day or week or month would bring for my family. That did in a way kind of steer me towards taking that gap year, but I don't regret it at all. There were a lot of times where I did regret taking my gap year, but like I said, this past trip was very validating. And here's why. Number one, during my gap year, I really discovered who I was as a person. I learned how I handled conflict. I really understood how I reacted in environments outside of academics. Because even though I'd worked like a few jobs, I worked at like Chipotle when I was in high school. I was a social media intern when I was at college at Syracuse. And I also did some like internships at home. I just kind of learned how I would handle situations whenever I just didn't really have as much going on, and when I didn't necessarily have a set schedule. And I think that was super important because I learned about myself that like I get really depressed and will like sit in my bed in the dark for hours if I have absolutely nothing going on in my life. I was the most productive and least productive in a lot of points. I would say the next thing I learned is like where my true passions lie. And I think it was really, it's not funny, but it's funny looking back now that whenever I dropped out of Syracuse, I had nothing to look forward to except for my Shawn Mendes concert over the summer. And he fully canceled. And then I was excited because I bought a ticket to Joshua Bassett. And then he canceled that show. And I was like the most devastated ever over these white boys canceling concerts. And there are so many other important things going on in the world, which granted, I'm not going to invalidate my own feelings. Like, younger Courtney, you had every right to feel the way that you did. I would still probably be devastated now, but at the end of the day, like, it really taught me who I was as a person and that my priorities lied within these guys who didn't even know I existed. But then I spent like that next spring following Joshua Bassett on tour, and it really taught me that I'm super passionate about music marketing, because I learned so much just from watching his tour that I was like, I feel like this could be executed so much better. And a lot of things could have been executed in a way that I think would fit better with his brand. And I get so much hate for saying that, but I fully believe that it's true. And it just really inspired me to be like, maybe I could do something like this behind the scenes. Because before, I didn't necessarily think that I could work in music for whatever reason. I don't know why. I thought I'd have to be an artist. But I just kind of, it was this really big eye-opening experience. I was like, maybe I could work for people like him and like find the people that would like him better than the way that it's happening now. That's when I kind of got a passion for marketing. And that fall, I applied to a bunch of different marketing programs. And I decided to do one that was online because I thought it fit my lifestyle better, considering that I really do like to travel. I'd like to do a bunch of side quests. I just thought that it was really important for me to still be able to go to all these other concerts and experience things that I'm meant to experience at a young age, rather than when I'm retired and can't actually enjoy it as much as I do now. That was another reason why I like my gap years, because I could take advantage of a lot of opportunities that I wouldn't be able to if I was held down to a campus. And granted, colleges do have their own special experiences on them, but I felt like I had a lot of growth considering that I wasn't on a campus. And this is not an advertisement for doing online school at all. But I wouldn't have found that if I didn't take my own gap year. And since I do school online, I've been able to take on a promotions assistant job at iHeartRadio, and it has been such an enriching experience. It's disciplined me a lot. It has taught me so many things about working in music. It's given me so many wonderful connections. And honestly, I would not have attained this job if I was at Syracuse. And even funnier, I was at Syracuse the night before this happened. I was having a crash out at 2 a.m. about how unloved Syracuse itself, the city, made me feel. And just being on that campus really brought that back in a lot of ways. And I wasn't really able to express that to the people I was with because it just felt wrong to bring that up. I was having this major crash out session in the middle of the night, being like, man, this sucks being here. And that next day, I got a text from my supervisor that was like, are you available to work on Saturday? Joe Jonas is gonna be there. And I was like, what? I just think it really showed that like on Saturday, I would have been graduating. I would have been graduating with a degree that I wasn't even passionate about anymore. Maybe if I'd stayed with the program, I would have gotten passion again. It was just such a validating moment for me because, for those of you who know, the Jonas Brothers have such an impact on my life in a lot of ways that getting to work for Joe Jonas's team for just a day was such an incredible experience for me. And the timing, the absolute timing was just perfect. It was perfect. I would not have gotten that opportunity if I had stayed on campus. I would not have. I just think it's so important to realize that not everything is going to be on your college campus that you want. And I still like also remember whenever I was trying to like decide if I was staying or leaving, I'd met up with the Career Center and I talked about like doing some kind of summer internship within film and entertainment because I really wanted a leg up because I know it's a competitive industry. I went to this Career Center pop-up, talked to my career advisor, showed her my resume, showed her my portfolio, and she's like, this all looks great, but you're not gonna get anything because you're a freshman. And I was absolutely devastated because I'm like, what do you mean my stuff looks great, but I'm not gonna get anything because of how old I am? That makes no sense. I understand that a lot of places prioritize juniors and seniors, but like, if my experience is there and a junior or seniors isn't, then I don't see why I couldn't get a position somewhere, anywhere. Someone would have taken me. And that's true because that fall when I was out of school, I still got an internship and they fully thought I was in school, but I wasn't. With all that being said, I think a gap year is so beneficial and I don't think it should be an escape from school is way too hard. I think it's better if you're someone who's just like not fully invested in what you're doing and you're not really sure who you are as a person. Which granted, I understand that everyone isn't really sure who they are as a person in their early 20s, but I think it's really important to just kind of discover who you are as a person in a new environment. I think that being away from home for my freshman year helped me in a lot of ways discover who I am as well. Because I know who I was out of my home environment. I knew who I was coming back into it. and navigating a lot of things that I completely forgot about when I was away. I just really want to say that if you really feel deep down that what you're doing in school isn't for you right now, that's okay. Take that gap year, take your time off, and you might have your parents not be supportive of it. I just got lucky that mine were. You just need to listen to your heart and what it's telling you, because college is expensive. And I understand that some people have really great scholarships that just kind of make it harder to drop. But you can achieve anything if you put in the work, if you put in that energy, and you really feel it in your chest that something isn't working out for you. Like, you will find something else that does work out for you. And I also think it's really important to find some healthy outlets during your gap year, because you probably will feel discouraged and you might have other people who are discouraging you. Appreciate you watching this video. I hope that maybe this helps you think some things through from someone else's perspective who's been through it. And I do understand there are a lot of people who've taken gap years but also not returned to school. I honestly highly contemplated it, and even though I have a year left, there was a moment a couple months ago where I was like, should I drop out of school? But I'm like, no, I need to finish. And whenever a full-time opportunity comes my way, I will graciously accept it. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Please give us a like if this helped. Comment down below your advice to other people, your thoughts. I really hope that this is helpful. Goodbye.